Hi everybody, this is Miss Moriarty and I'm here to discuss with us our topic 6.13, which is energy conservation. This is the last topic in our unit 6, so this kind of brings all of it together. Now, when discussing energy conservation, some methods for conserving energy maybe in your home might include things like adjusting the thermostat to reduce the use of heat and maybe air conditioning, conserving the amount of water use, installing maybe energy efficient appliances, and conservation in landscaping of your home as well. On a much grander scale, some ways we can conserve energy might be improving the fuel economy for vehicles, maybe using battery electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles, using public transportation, and implementing a green building design features. Now here, when looking at energy conservation, there are two ways we can kind of look at it here. Number one, we can look at just simply resource conservation, right? How do we conserve the reserves of fossil fuels, for example, so that they last much longer than just say 50 to 100 or so years? Well, we can look at improving the efficiency of things that may depend upon those fossil fuels. And that means improving in technologies, maybe even using alternative fuel sources, things like biofuels, ethanols, and such. We can look at avoiding waste, right? Look at how much we're consuming in terms of domestic use and maybe even industrial use. And then implementing more renewable resources like solar power, wind power. We can also look at emission reduction, right? We know that the burning of fossil fuels is going to produce things such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. Coal and petroleum can produce things like mercury, lead, and arsenic. And so we want to introduce cleaner burning fuels, as well as cleaner technologies. That might be looking into, once again, alternative fuel sources, things that don't necessarily need fossil fuels. We might look at cleaner technologies, which then creates better innovations for the future and financial mechanisms for the future as well. And so some specific examples we need to be familiar with, especially in transportation, since we know vehicles and transportation highly right now depend upon fossil fuel usage. We know that we can improve the fuel economy of the US fleet of vehicles, and they can conserve energy, use less gas, use less diesel in order to travel that same distance. The actual CAF standards, which are corporate average fuel economy standards, are regulations that are set in the US, and this requires those auto manufacturers to make cars that are going to meet a certain miles per gallon standard or potentially pay penalties. You can probably see if you are purchasing a car soon or leasing a car, that's something that you can actually look at when you're pursuing purchasing a vehicle. We can also have more hybrid cars, such as a Prius. They're going to use both gasoline and electric engine, enabling them to have much higher mile per gallon ratings. And how does that hybrid vehicle actually work? Well, the braking system is going to actually charge the electric battery, which is then going to charge the electric motor. We can also simply just use electric vehicles, things like Teslas or Leafs. They typically use no gasoline, but still require electricity. But only getting that electricity from a sustainable resource would then make electric vehicles the even better option to choose from. And obviously, another way that you can help to conserve energy looking at your transportation specifically is just simply using public transport, carpooling more often. Those are all easy, better ways to energy save. Looking at green building design, this is something that, maybe building a home, maybe office buildings can take into account the way in which they design their building in order to help conserve energy. We know that they can use methods such as maybe passive solar heating, right? Orienting their office building in a specific position in order to help control the temperature inside the building. That's going to help to conserve energy costs in terms of heating as well as cooling in the summertime. Here you can see They have trees out in front, which is going to create some nice shade, which can also help to alternate the cooling and heating within the building here. We see that they have solar panels or photovoltaic generation is being used to help generate electricity throughout our building. They have sufficient enough insulation that's going to help to conserve heat. They have high efficiency lighting. They have interior decorating that's using more eco-like materials. So like I said, big corporations can really take a look at the design of their office buildings and really start implementing more green building design. We can also even look at cities. Cities can actually become more green. We can see that they can implement high density residential neighborhoods. That's going to potentially reduce traffic, which means more people can walk. That means we're going to reduce the dependency upon transportation via a vehicle of some sorts here. We can see that they have a mixed type use district, thinking back to our urbanization topic there, incorporates living and spaces above businesses, once again, kind of limiting the need for travel. They have recreational green spaces. That's going to encourage physical activity, reduce maybe obesity, increasing the health of those residences, and so on. So now, guys, take a second. This is the last practice FRQ here. Identify and describe 3 actions the residents of the house could take to conserve heat energy and lower the cost of heating the house. Okay, at this point, you should have paused the video and answered your FRQ on your own sheet of paper. So let's see what our answers may be here. So here are simply just some examples of an appropriate action with the following description. Remember, you had to provide 3 of those. So you could have said something like add thicker insulation there. You could add insulation to the attic, exterior walls. That's going to help to conserve heat, which helps to lower the dependency upon heat and energy. You could cover exterior windows with plastic, once again, creating that type of insulation. You could use solar heating with specific examples. You can obviously use passive solar heating. That's placing your windows on the southern, eastern, or western sides to increase exposure to the heat from the sun. You can open up shades, blinds during the day, close at night to help regulate temperature. You can regulate the thermostat. Add carpet to your home for more insulation, install higher energy furnaces, ceiling fans, and such. So any one of these were accepted answers if you want to give yourself a grade. All right, guys, that's it for our video, and that's the end of our unit. Remember, you want to mark this as done whenever you are complete.